After the visit from the West of some exclusive brethren to Shanghai in October and November of 1932, Watchman was invited to repay their visit by going to England, the United States, and Canada in June 1933. While in Great Britain, he had the opportunity of seeing George Cutting, the author of the well known Christian tract Safety, Certainty, and Enjoyment. Once, however, he slipped away from his brethren hosts and visited the Christian Fellowship and Ministry Center at Honor Oak Road, London. He did not meet its key leader, Mr. T. Austin Sparks, whom he had especially gone to see, but he did break bread with the saints there on the Lord's Day. When this was heard of by the exclusive brethren, it was to them an unpardonable sin. After Watchman's return to China, and following many communications back and forth, in 1935 they formally severed all fellowship with the brethren who met in the assembly in Shanghai, as well as in other Chinese localities. Watchman and the brethren with him maintained that fellowship must be open to all God's people. It is based on life, not on light. Wherefore, receive ye one another, even as Christ also received you, to the glory of God. Romans 15, verse 7. In God's providence, an unexpected and happy turn of events came into Watchman's life. His school days sweetheart, Charity Chang, whom he had much earlier given up for the Lord's sake, was eventually saved and began to walk with the Lord. They met again, and their buried feelings towards each other were rekindled. After much prayer, he concluded that it was God's will for them to be united in marriage. The matter was negotiated and finalized by Watchman's mother and Charity's uncle, Chang Shuquan, who was the family's legal head. It was the wish of Watchman's mother to have the wedding held on the 19th of October, 1934, for that day was the anniversary of her own wedding. Watchman at first objected because this would fall on the last day of the Fourth Victory Conference, held at Henshaw. He did not wish his wedding to interfere with the working of the Spirit of God at the conference. He yielded to the persuasion of the brethren, however, and was united with Charity in a Christian marriage on that very afternoon. But a vicious storm of animosity broke out after his wedding. Charity's aunt, Chang Mei Chen, had vigorously objected to the match. She had in mind that her niece should have married a wealthy man. Bitter over what had happened, she placed a harshly worded advertisement in a national daily paper for a whole week as a means to attack Watchman's moral character. She also printed tracts and distributed them among Christian circles. Indeed, she caused quite a turmoil among many Christians. This forced Watchman, for a time, to cease public ministry, and he retreated to a place that was far distant from Shanghai. Even when he and his wife returned to Shanghai after several months, Watchman still did not want to preach in public. At the suggestion of Ruth Lee, though, he did consent to lead a study on the Old Testament book, The Song of Solomon, with about 10 fellow workers at Westlake, Hangzhou, for 2 weeks. The notes taken were later published in Chinese as The Song of Songs. During the first part of the year 1935, Watchman felt the need for a breakthrough in his spiritual life. He thought of traveling to England to visit Mr. Austin Sparks for help. While on his way there, but before he left China, Watchman and his wife spent some time with the American missionaries, Dr. and Mrs. Thornton Stearns, in Chefoo, North China. It so happened that at this same time, Miss Elizabeth Fishbacher from Scotland was also a guest in the Stearns home. They had wonderful fellowship together, especially through the help of Sister Fishbacher. Watchman came into an experience of the outpouring of the Holy Spirit while he was praying by himself. He was refreshed in his spirit, whereupon he sent a briefly worded telegram from Chefoo to Shanghai, which simply declared, "I have met the Lord." Instead of continuing forward on the contemplated journey to England, he returned to Shanghai. Every morning, for a whole week, he met with his fellow workers there, searching the scriptures together on this new experience of his and praying together. Then, during September and October of the same year, 1935, in a special conference that was called, he spoke on the theme, The Victorious Life and the Outpouring of the Holy Spirit. A revival broke out, and soon it spread to South China. But as the Spirit of God was moving, The enemy was also busily at work. Several important incidents happened. In reviewing the situation, Watchman and his fellow workers came to the conclusion that Calvary must precede Pentecost, that the cross always precedes the power. This was indeed a most valuable lesson to learn.